You're listening to Navid Moosa of The Mindset Movement. Good day, good people. My name is Navid Moosa. I'm your host today and always for the Mindset Movement podcast and founder of NavidMoosa.com. At NavidMoosa.com, you can find modules, 5 in all, to help you become the best real estate agent that there is out there, as well as if you're someone who's seasoned, how to change up your game. And if you're a real estate investor looking to partner with an agent for your investment needs, check out these modules as well. Each and every week we get into it. We talk about the mindset of an entrepreneur, the mindset of a small business owner or a big business owner. Longtime listeners, you guys know the deal. We love you. We appreciate you. First-time listeners, thank you for giving us the opportunity. We truly appreciate that. We get into it right away. So I want to talk about the phrase late bloomers. For those who don't know, late bloomers means someone who is of a older age and who has kind of come into their own later on in life than probably compared to somebody else. The reason why I want to talk about this is actually I have these unemployable brand that I've created. I've got t-shirts, hat, sweatshirts. And when I launched the brand, Unemployable Brand, it was basically it was for those who don't want to be basically held back because they're creative beyond their boss's creativity, essentially. It's for those who just can't work for anybody else. They're not unmanageable. They just can't work for somebody else because they're free-spirited. There could be someone headstrong and maybe even stubborn, but there's somebody who is creative beyond a lot of our beliefs. And so I had created some shirts, gave some obviously for my family members, some friends. And so my wife had wore one I think she wore to work on a Zoom call or something. And her boss made a comment saying, "Hey," and he asked her, "Is your husband a late bloomer?" or something like that. And my wife just looked at him like, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, the shirt, I know he's in his 40s and, he's created this brand and, you're wearing it and stuff like that." And she didn't know how to respond to it. Right. And so she just kind of just said, this is something that he offers us to sell. And that was it. She didn't agree, disagree, nothing. That was it. And so she told me the conversation, and it got me thinking, I'm like, why would he ask that question? I don't know why. But then I was thinking, I don't know if I was a late bloomer, as opposed to just someone who wasn't in the proper nurturing environment. And don't get me wrong, I'm a stubborn jackass. I know I am. And I'm set in some of my ways, but I'm also not set into a way where I excuse me. I'm not set into a way where I refuse to not put blinders on. I'm an old school parent. I'm set my way in that. But as far as opportunity and personal growth and business, no. So it got me thinking. That is a phrase that's used a lot. That is a phrase they use a lot. Late bloomers, oh, he's a late bloomer. She's a late bloomer. They're a late bloomer. I don't think that's the case. I just think sometimes people are not in the proper situation they should be in. And it's not that anyone's fault. It's just that the people that they're with are potentially have been dealing with themselves and other people in their circle with conventional methods. And that conventional method doesn't work with you. That conventional traditional method just doesn't, you don't react to it in a positive manner. You don't feed off of it. And so therefore you can get mislabeled as someone who's not a self-starter, someone who's not a go-getter, as someone who's lazy, as someone who just doesn't get it, someone who's slow. And that's just not the case. If nothing, recent history has definitely proved that we are not the same. Everybody is different. Everybody has different thought process. Everybody has different likes and dislikes. I can go on and on about that. So that should not change when it comes to feeding somebody's mental ability. When I hear late bloomers, I hear somebody was like, oh, someone who's late to the party, someone who's always playing catch up, someone who's just slow. I disagree. I think I do think I came from a conservative household. I came from you go to school, you go to college, you get a good job, you pay your bills, you get married, you have children, and that's your life. Don't disagree with that at all. Do not disagree with that at all. It just doesn't fit me. And I can agree with something and not follow it, believe it or not. So can you. Okay. Um, I have nothing against college. I have nothing against marriage. I have nothing against family. I have nothing against paying bills. I have nothing against getting a great career. I have nothing against a lot of things. What I do have something against is pigeonholing or labeling people into a bucket based off of what you think they should be in, because how you are perceived in yourself or how you were taught to perceive people. I guess that's my problem that I have when people get tagged in general. In this case, we're talking about late bloomers because that's the phrase that came up. So I think we need to, again, in my opinion, I should say we have to, and I say that, and I don't say that meaning you need to. My opinion, my strong-willed opinion is that before you go and label somebody, before you ask somebody about a label, if they agree with this label or not, I think you need to think about how you phrase that question. A lot of the times when we put these labels on a person and they hear that and they're trying to find themselves or they're trying to identify themselves, it adds more confusion. It could add more frustration. Very little times does it add direction. If you want to add direction to somebody, if you want to help them with direction, you don't pop a label. What you do is instead you pop questions. You pop questions to learn about them first, not through a third party, through them directly. If I want to know something about my kid, I'm going to my kid. I'm not going to go to my wife, their mother. I'm not going to go to their teacher. I'm going to go to my kid. And then, yes, if it's still not making sense, then yes, I will then escalate it as deemed necessary. But I think, and if you're a first time listener, you're like, what the hell? I'm not trying to get parental advice or advice. It's just that, when we talk about things here, we take life situations and how they pertain to us as a business owner. As a business owner, you're going to offer a product for sale. If it's not a product, if it's not a niche product or niche product, you could get bundled with some other people in a negative manner, potentially that is. And so you have to fight your way out of that. So I don't want you, if you are offering a product for sale, or if you plan to offer something for sale and you offer a service for sale rather, and you talk to somebody and like, no, you want to do that because a lot of people in this industry do this, it's all negative. That's them. That's not you. So you have to prepare yourself that you may have to fight for that. I'm a mentor. I'm a coach. I'm telling you right now, mentors and coaches have a negative connotation. Like, oh, you're a coach. What do you do? What do you do? What kind of coach are you? Stuff like that. A lot of people expect the coach to do the work. No, a coach guides you. A coach won't do the work for you. A coach holds you accountable. But the expectation that people put on coaches and mentors is that they expect the coach to sit there beside them, hold their hands 24/7, and when there's a question, have the solution for that. It's not always the case. You have a question, we may say, well, here's how you want to do it. That question, then the answer to that question may be another question. You have to understand that when you go down this road of, in my opinion, when you go down this road of being an entrepreneur, that you're not always going to be looked upon in a positive manner. You may get put it or labeled in a particular way. And then it's your option, it is your prerogative to fight the stigma or just crumble. No one's going to make you do one or the other. You need to decide what you want to put up with and what you don't want to put up with. The first time I tried to get onto social media, try to advertise my services of being a coach or being a mentor, I sat with a friend of mine and who does marketing, and she said, okay, tell me about yourself. And I said something. She looked at me dead in my face, and she was like, "What do you do?" She was like, "Oh, so you're a realtor." Never heard of one of them before. Like, she was being a smart ass, but on purpose. She was like, "Oh, you're a realtor." I'm like, "No, I'm not a realtor. Yes, you are." Because when I said, "What do you do?" The first thing you said is, "I have 20 years of experience in real estate." To your realtor. And I was like, shit, how do I go past that? Because I don't want to be just on that just as a realtor. Right. So right there then was my chance to either A, buckle down, or B, fight against it. I chose to fight against it. Now, 6, 7 years later, we are here. I'm talking to myself on the screen, hopefully talking to somebody else as well. It's You just got to get ready for it. It's a mental battle that it's going to happen. It's a mental battle. You can't live in it. And it's just something that's hopefully makes you stronger. And if you think, and you will have moments of weakness, have moments of regrets, and you want to just give up, just remember why you started this. The labels don't make you. They don't. They're a definition put on you by somebody else because that's how they think. You don't think like them. Keep that in mind. So that's what I got for y'all this week. Hopefully you enjoyed it. First time listeners, if you did, please share us, like us, follow us. Long time listeners, again, thank you very much. If you did not like it, please come back. And also, I think there's going to be a feature on these podcasts where you can actually do you can actually have a question on what you liked about the podcast or not. Please answer there. Those are great features that we that came up, and we are utilizing it. So each and every week, say the same thing, and I'm not going to change today. Just do right by the client. Do right by the client, and everything else will fall into place. I promise you. Do right by the client, and everything else will fall into place. And sometimes that client is you. Be good to each other. Be good to yourself. Stay safe. Be safe. Take care. Till next week. See ya.